Hello, PostgreSQL community. Here I am again. My name is Paula. I'm Principal Program Manager at Microsoft. My day to day is upskilling on Postgres. So today I wanted to talk to you about virtual endpoints, which is something that I really like and is one of the cool features that we have with Azure Database for Postgres. Flexible servers. So first, I want to tell you what is actually a virtual endpoint. So the what is. Um, a virtual endpoint is a consistent and stable listener endpoint that simplifies application connectivity in scenarios involving read replicas, failovers, or point-in-time restore. How did we actually implement that in flexible servers? Well, is some customers would ask me, is this virtual IP or is this like just a DNS entry? It's kind of just a DNS entry that we are keeping, uh, on behalf of our customers, and it pretty much does a very cool thing, which is helping with the disaster and recovery failover. So let me show you. And how can you configure a virtual endpoint? Maybe the next question that you're asking yourself. So, how do you configure endpoint? I'm gonna show you. So first, you can do this via either the Azure portal, as I'm gonna show you, or CLI. Okay, these are the two ways you can do it. So let me show you the portal experience. So first, you come here to replication, and then you wait for this to be populated. You're gonna see that I have one flexible servers called demo virtual endpoint 1, demo v1. And this flexible server, which is sitting on UK South, has two read replicas. One is sitting on UK West and the other one is sitting West Europe. So let's say that I want to fail over from demo v1 to demo v2 and I do not have virtual endpoints. What the experience will look like? Well, the experience will look like something like this. When I promote demo v2 into the new primary, everything that's connecting with this host name, something like this, okay? For the more for the more beginning audience. So everything that's connecting using this, it has to be changed to something that will look like this, demo v2. Okay, so clients, your applications, your dashboards, anything, as opposed to the experience virtual endpoints, which is I can create always two endpoints in today, at least as of July 2025, in flexible servers. One is the writer. The writer has read and write capabilities, and the other one is the reader. You can only create one reader endpoint. Okay, so typically you would point a writer to your primary database where writing and reading the applications, everything's kind of looking to that one, and you can have a reader endpoint in the other server, in my case demo v2, where you could be pointing just applications that are responsible for reading. Maybe you have microservices that are surfacing some information like reports and stuff to your customers, so you can definitely make more use of your read replica as a something that supports your business instead of just paying for something that for disaster recovery purposes, which is pretty cool. But again, back to the virtual endpoints topic. So by doing this, when I switch roles between demo v1 and demo v2, I'm using this type of connection, host on my connection string, I don't have to do anything. Okay, so I will be writing on demo v2 after the failover without having to repoint anything. My reader will be sitting on demo v1 .postgres, and life is good. So let me do the promotion so you see what the experience look like. I know you may be asking yourself, what is this demo v3 doing? Why does she has this? I just wanted to tell you to have another read replica here, because you see that by switching roles from v1 to v2 doesn't really affect v3. I could easily come here and reconfigure my endpoints, the reader endpoint, for example, to point to v3 and still make the switch to v2. You'll not get the benefits of the endpoints anyway, of the virtual endpoints anyway, but you could do that. If I want to change the target, to just come here and I do v3. If I want to just come here and delete them, I can delete them. That's pretty easy. Okay, so let's now look into the promotion and what it looks like. So I come here and it's always, promotion is always initiated on the read replica or on the server that we want to, to elect as the new primary. So I come here and I click promote. Before I do that, I just wanted to connect with my endpoints here on my very cool Visual and Studio. Sorry, it's Friday. So my very cool Visual Studio Postgres extension. Have you tried that one? It's pretty cool. I highly recommend it. And just wanted to show you that I won't be kicked out of the database, okay? I will, but I won't. Your users typically won't perceive the switch. I have an application to prove my point here as well. A Python app that's constantly accessing the database using the virtual endpoint. My application will continue inserting records. Obviously, there is a point that the switch, the failover is going to happen and writes are going to be cut off of the primary instance. However, that's just a hiccup. And then if your application is robust enough and has retry, failover, and all that stuff, and secret breaker as well, not to overwhelm the connections of the database, you will be able to continue your operations seamlessly or as seamless as possible. So now back to the experience on the switch over. So important to say, you could either switch over to the primary server or you can promote it to a standalone server and remove from the replication. This is something that it may be useful in case you need for some special use case. There may be some out there. And in terms of the data synchronization, you can do either a planned sync data before promoting. As you know, this is a read replica, is asynchronous, and you may have some lag behind it. So what I'm saying is I want to be sure that I have the two databases in synchronization before you do this switch, okay? So I don't lose any data. And we forced failover. The failover will go quicker because you won't really be waiting for the data to be fully synchronized before initiating the switch, the role switch. However, you may lose some data, okay? You may. It's not guaranteed, okay? That's the warning we're giving here. So, all right, let's click the button and let's wait for the promotion to happen. Here we are. So the promotion has finished a few minutes ago. And let's see now if my application continues to work. Okay, so let's do this one. Python app. I should be able to insert another record. Cool, it is working. Another record. 3 records now. So I come here. I'm connected as my writer. Select star from messages. Let's do that. Took a while because it's revalidating the connection against the host password and everything. Not the password because it's not doing that, but look, all works. If I connect to my reader endpoint, which I haven't really done it before, which should be now my demo v1, all should be working too, because I told you both endpoints should be unaffected. This is where you find information on where are you connected at the moment. Cool. And works pretty seamless. Let me show you now the situation on the replication UI from the Azure portal. So let's wait for the screen to populate. Another advantage of virtual endpoints is that works seamless with private endpoints as well. And we can have a separate video to talk about that too. So, all right, so here, as you can see, I have my replicas. My primary now is demo v2. I have a replica called demo v1 in UK South and another one in v3 is unaffected. We and writer endpoint now points to demo v2. Everything works, everybody's happy, and I haven't really had to change anything on my client on the client side. Okay, that's the purpose. Now if I make the switch over back to the primary demo v1, I expect the same continues to work. All right, don't just one thing that important to clarify before I close this video is about unavailability. So when you switch the roles, you will have a little hiccup. Okay, I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video. There is a point where we have to cut our connections on the primary node to make sure that we can do the failover, and that's when you will actually have the unavailability. So if you have an application that has all the robustness and reliability to work with this type of scenarios, you will not experience like 2 minutes failover or something like this. It's gonna be like 10 seconds, 20 seconds for the application, and it will recover easily. Another point that I wanted to make is that this makes disaster recovery tests across regions seamless. In the past, when we did not have this feature, you have to switch the role. So you promote the replica to be the primary one, and there was no way we were synchronizing it back to the primary. So you kind of had to rebuild the primary region and fail back to the primary region, and then the primary and then how do I say rebuild the disaster recovery region. Okay, so for testing purposes, for business continuity, for everything else that you can think of, this is a great feature. I recommend every customer that I have to implement this because it's easy and it should make your life much, much simpler. All right. Thank you very much. Until next time. And please, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. I should be including many more videos in the near future. And if you have any questions, just paste it in the comments. Thank you. Bye.